published 1700 EDT, the 15th of October 2017, updated 2137 EDT, the 15th of October 2017. Mr. Salmond was spotted smoking and dancing in the street after flying out for the meeting with SNP colleague Tasmina Ahmed Sheikh. This is Alex Salmond still enjoying the taxpayer-funded gravy train, 4 months after he was kicked out of Parliament. Despite losing his Westminster seat in June, the former Scottish First Minister is still racking up four-figure expenses bills by representing the Commons abroad. British taxpayers are picking up the tab as Mr. Salmond and his SNP colleague Tasmina Ahmed Sheikh, who was also ousted at the election, have been allowed to remain part of the delegation to the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe PACE, which meets in Strasbourg. Last week, for the second time since losing their seats, they flew out for the quarterly get-togethers, which are dismissed by critics as a talking shop, at a cost of up to £3,000, while on the three-day jolly the pair enjoyed 3 under-half-hour lavish boozer-fueled dinners in the French city, including at a restaurant featured in the Michelin Guide. On Tuesday evening, after downing several glasses of sparkling wine at a brasserie, Mr. Salmond, 62, was seen smoking a cigarette and dancing outside in the street close to the boutique hotel where he and Mrs. Ahmed Sheikh, 47, were staying. In addition to travel costs, they can each charge the taxpayer up to €170 £153 a night for accommodation and up to €80.50 £72.52 a day for food and drink. The politicians were spotted dining in Strasbourg after they requested to remain members of the club. Receipts obtained by the Daily Mail show that, on previous trips, Mr. Salmond and Mrs. Ahmed Sheikh, a former model and Bollywood star, travelled business class. The pair also went on a political affairs and democracy visit to Iceland last September, for which Mr. Salmond claimed £1,615 and Mrs. Ahmed Sheikh £1,634. Alex Wild of the Taxpayers Alliance last night said this is just ridiculous. Taxpayers should not be paying for ex-MPs to attend talking shops and eat at expensive restaurants. Families could only dream of experiencing the luxuries these failed politicians take for granted on the public purse. Mrs. Ahmed Sheikh is a regular presence at Mr. Salmond's side and was the producer of his Edinburgh Festival show. The mother of four stood as a Tory against current First Minister Nicola Sturgeon in the 1999 election, when she warned about the SNP's thirst for an independence referendum. But within months of losing, she signed up to become a member. The pair, pictured here with an associate following a 3.5-hour dinner, also went on a political affairs and democracy visit to Iceland last September. Mr. Salmond claimed £1,615 and Mrs. Ahmed Sheikh £1,634 for the trip. In 2015 she was elected as MP for Ochil and South Perthshire and was given a front-bench job and regularly represented the SNP on TV. But 2 years on, she and Mr. Salmond suffered the humiliation of losing their seats to the resurgent Tories. But rather than let a sitting MP take their places on the PACE group, Mr. Salmond and Mrs. Ahmed Sheikh have requested to continue attending. Under parliamentary rules, they can remain part of the delegation for up to 6 months after defeat. Restaurant Le Balsamo, where Alex Salmond and former SNP spokesperson for international trade, Tasmina Ahmed Sheikh, had a lengthy, boozy meal. Politicians from across the continent are brought together 4 times a year to discuss social problems and aspects of international politics at its meetings. Last Monday, the pair snubbed the SNP conference in Glasgow, as they returned to the French city for another meeting of the Assembly. During the 5-day event, Mr. Salmond and Mrs. Ahmed Sheikh took part in 3 debates. They also voted on 3 motions, including a call to reaffirm European unity and defend democratic security. A Scottish Conservatives spokesman said, "For 2 people who profess to hate Westminster, they certainly seem to shamelessly enjoy the benefits it allows." Mr. Salmond and Mrs. Ahmed Sheikh did not respond to requests for comment. The former Bollywood star and ex-leader of the SNP wandered the streets of Strasbourg after a boozy meal with a group. Despite both losing their seats, more than £275,000 is spent each year on sending representatives, including John Prescott, for meetings at the Strasbourg body. The Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe PACE is part of the Council of Europe, a human rights group which also oversees the European Court of Human Rights. It is unconnected to the EU. Latest figures show it cost £181,508 to send MPs and peers to the four main PACE meetings in Strasbourg last year. A further £94,043 went on travel, accommodation and costs for its smaller committee meetings, which took place in locations across the globe including Marrakesh, Tirana, Tallinn, New York and Florence. Lord Prescott claimed £1,330 for a one-day meeting in Florence in 2016.